On World News Tonight this Tuesday, Hurricane Mitch, one of the fiercest storms this hemisphere has ever seen. Driving through Arkansas, or maybe Mississippi, or maybe Arkansas, the controversial highway and this year's elections. And beyond the horizon, our week in space, stepping up the search for alien life and going commercial. Space exploration, that is.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. Tonight we are tracking one of the worst hurricanes on record. Hurricane Mitch is classified as extremely dangerous. As those winds swirl around, take a look at that well-defined eye, that black dot in the middle of those swirling winds. That is one indication for hurricane analysts of how much strength it actually has. For a while today, Mitch was what they call a Category 5. There is no Category 6. Tonight it has weakened a bit, but it is making its way relentlessly up through the Caribbean in the direction of the Mexican coast. ABC's Ron Claiborne reports tonight from the popular resort of Cancun.
The first powerful gusts hit Cancun late today, the normally placid surf churning just a few feet from more than 100 luxury hotels. People here are well aware that the center of the storm is already brushing Honduras to the south, with winds of more than 150 miles per hour and driving rain. There's been flooding and thousands have been forced to flee their homes. In Cancun, thousands of tourists, mostly Americans, crowded the airport.
With the hurricane coming, and it looks like it's going to come awful close, we figure we'll get out now.
I'm not afraid of it. I just want to beat it. I want to, outsmart it, hopefully.
Some local residents were also leaving, primarily by bus, trying to get as far inland as possible.
Tabasco.
Why?
El huracán.
10 years ago, the Cancun area was devastated by Hurricane Gilbert. This time authorities say they're ready, but still there is some confusion. This woman lives across the street from a school that's been designated as her shelter. The problem is the school's locked, and no one knows who has the key. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Cancun.
It is, as we said, very unusual for a hurricane to reach the level of Category 5. Hurricane Mitch is already being blamed for the deaths of at least 10 people. Here's ABC's Bill Blakemore.
It's got the classic mark of a monster hurricane, a perfectly formed eye.
A beautiful, clear eye tells us that all of the physical processes that make an intense hurricane are working perfectly.
Scientists have rarely seen a hurricane stay so powerful for so long, and never so late in the year.
There's never been a storm this intense in the month of October in the Atlantic.
Scientists suspect that Mitch grew so powerful partly because it passed over the western Caribbean. Water there has remained warm late into the year. The warm water makes the wind warmer, so it rises more quickly up into the eye of the hurricane, making it stronger and stronger. Mitch is advancing slowly enough to get maximum heat from each patch of ocean before moving on. Today, scientists saw a second outer eye wall forming, which prevented some of the heat from getting to the inner eye, and thus weakened the hurricane, but not by much.
With the outer eye wall forming, it looks like it's on a weakening trend, but it's still going to be a very serious hurricane.
As a Category 4, it's still at least as bad as Andrew, which did $25 billion damage in Florida in 1992. What frightens hurricane scientists most is that they still don't know how to predict when a hurricane might suddenly strengthen again, as Mitch has already done once.
Mitch was a classic case of rapid intensification. If it were happening off the Texas coast, we'd be looking at a major disaster for the U.S.
It will be at least 2 days before they know if Mitch will head north toward the U.S. Bill Blakemore, ABC News.
The space agency said today that Hurricane Mitch will not have any effect on this Thursday's shuttle launch, the one with Senator John Glenn and others on board. It is too far away from Cape Canaveral. Overseas today in the former Yugoslavia, an ultimatum from the United States and its NATO allies appears to have had the desired effect, at least for now, as the U.S. puts it. The U.S. confirms today that the Serbs have withdrawn the majority of their soldiers and their military police from the province of Kosovo. And so the NATO deadline to do so passes without a NATO attack as punishment. In Kosovo tonight, ABC's Richard Gisbert.
Convoys on the roads, troops heading out, checkpoints coming down. The Serbs' 11th-hour military exodus from Kosovo has brought instant results. Albanian refugees are heading home. Nasser Kastrati was rebuilding his roof today. It was burned down in the fighting, but he won't bring his wife and children home, not yet. If the Serbs see NATO isn't doing anything, he says, the Serbs will come back. Yesterday, this village was deserted. Today, some Albanian men came back, but again, without their wives and children, because there is still a Serb police presence here. One problem with the NATO deal is that it leaves thousands of Serb police in place. This man badly wanted to go back to his village today. He asked us if an American observer team could come with him. They can help us, he said. We're afraid of the Serb police. But with no U.S. observers around, he headed off. People are not going to come back to places like this, at least not in large numbers, until they're sure that their towns and villages won't become battlegrounds once again. For now, the safe thing to do is wait and see. Guerrilla fighters from the Kosovo Liberation Army aren't waiting. They're moving quickly into what were Serb positions. The Serbs have already said they won't tolerate that, and that could provoke another crisis for NATO, which is why, for all the good signs today, U.S. officials were calling this a short-term solution. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, Malasheva, Kosovo.
When we come back, some of the other news: trillions of calculations a second, faster and stronger than thousands of computers put together.
Lately, we at Lockheed Martin have been lucky enough to work on some very exciting projects. Like the most advanced automated fingerprint identification system in the world. Oh, and let's not forget the missions to Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
What you eating, little brother? Chicken and stars. There's a better tasting soup. Progresso chicken noodle, all white meat chicken, bigger veggies. See the difference?
Good stuff.
Told ya. Nice shirt.
Discover the better taste of Progresso.
Open wide. It's new Friskies Dental Diet.
Now there's a great tasting cat food that helps reduce plaque and tartar buildup by 25%. That's news to chew on.
Toothbrushes? Poor humans.
New Friskies Dental Diet.
Buy a set of 4 selected Goodyear tires before November 28th and get a $50 or $100 U.S. savings bond. For the retailer nearest you, call 1-800-GOODYEAR.
At the White House tomorrow, the government and IBM are going to announce the development of the world's fastest computer. It certainly sounds like an astonishing breakthrough in computing technology. A computer capable of making nearly 4 trillion calculations per second. ABC's Jack Smith reports tonight on what that will mean to all of us.
100 million. Remember IBM's Deep Blue, which last year became the first computer to beat a human being at chess? Well, the new supercomputer is 20 times faster, the equivalent of 15,000 desktop PCs.
This is a new ball game. I mean, it will allow us to do computing, simulation experiments, the kind of physics we absolutely couldn't do before.
Built by IBM for government nuclear labs, this machine means breakthroughs in nuclear weapons. For the first time, scientists can actually model a nuclear explosion, eliminating the need for controversial testing. Life-saving drugs. With machines this powerful, drugs that take 10 years to find with hit-or-miss lab work can be isolated in just a year and a half. Climate. So many probabilities can be assessed so fast that weather can be predicted with real accuracy. Oil exploration. Better computer simulation of where to drill means fewer dry holes, less damage to the environment.
Think about it this way. Using a pocket calculator, it would take 63,000 years to do what the new computer does in a second. Machines this fast will revolutionize science. Jack Smith, ABC News, Washington.
On the money tonight, checking the calendar, it's a year ago today that the Dow Jones Industrials had their biggest one-day drop ever, down 554 points by the bell. Another Black Monday. Today, the Dow was down more than 66 points to close at 83.66. The NASDAQ index lost more than 7 points. Incidentally, gold, which we don't usually follow, is about $293 an ounce on most of the world's markets. That's an 18-year low because inflation is low. One of the world's most influential investors is closing his hedge fund, which has specialized in emerging markets. George Soros lost more than $2 billion investing in Russia when the Russian government said it could not pay its debts. And here's a development we had anticipated. The government of Russia has asked the U.S. for food aid to get through the winter. With food shortages likely, Russia has requested American meat and rice and grain. This is food they used to buy but can no longer afford. Washington is looking at it. When we come back, the 98 vote. How current events are often folded into political campaigns. And the road to re-election. The road, literally, a section of interstate. It's millions of dollars in your money.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Lockheed Martin.
There is an athlete amongst us, disguised as a mother and a neighbor. And when most of us are still sleeping, she's running. She also takes the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and folic acid in Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made by General Nutrition Centers. Tomorrow, she'll get up and run some more. Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made exclusively by GNC. Live strong, live well.
Carol Johnson believes the mammogram reminder card we sent her saved her life. Carolyn Skipworth believes her early colon cancer screening saved her life. If it's hard for you to believe that our long-standing commitment to preventive care and early detection actually makes a difference, we have proof, living proof. We're Aetna U.S. Healthcare, raising the quality of healthcare in America.
Parenting is a constant learning process. What you have to do is prioritize.
Back in '88, Earl wanted to retire, spend more time with Tiger.
But Dad taught me.
I met an American Express financial advisor. Dave is a personal friend of mine to this day. We trust each other because we got a track record.
It's about making smarter decisions.
We're a team, and that's when dreams can happen.
American Express Financial Advisors.
It hurts so bad. That burning sensation. So I saw my doctor. He said where heartburn hurts most is where Mylanta works fast. All down through here where you want help fast. My doctor said Mylanta.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? Very simple. No stress. They arranged to pick me up free, so I don't have to ask anyone for a ride. See? No stress.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
For our report on the 98 vote this evening, how yesterday's violence can sometimes be today's politics. Dr. Barnett Slepian was murdered outside Buffalo, New York on Friday, ostensibly because he performed abortions. Today, abortion is an even hotter issue in some important political contests. Here's ABC's John Cochran.
Abortion rights activists believe the doctor's murder can mobilize opposition to anti-abortion candidates, such as New York Senator Al D'Amato. D'Amato voted against a 1994 law making it a federal crime to use force to interfere with abortions. It gave federal agents the authority to investigate in such cases.
Even though D'Amato touts himself as a crime fighter, he voted to deny law enforcement officials that added authority. He did not ensure that women and physicians and healthcare providers were protected.
In a bizarre coincidence, 2 days before the murder, the abortion rights group NARAL produced a commercial about a woman who was badly injured in a bombing at a Birmingham abortion clinic. Now, NARAL plans to buy more airtime to give it greater prominence.
How could D'Amato vote against a law that protects women from tragedies like mine?
D'Amato has deplored anti-abortion violence, but advisors to his opponent, Chuck Schumer, believe the ads and news coverage of the murder help emphasize their differences on abortion. Many Democrats hope the abortion issue will also become pivotal in other close races around the country, including California.
So when it comes to choice, Fong is wrong.
Consultants and pollsters say the abortion issue may help Democratic candidates ignite enthusiasm among supporters who until now have been apathetic.
We have a whole new element in energized progressive Democrat, energized pro-choice woman. It creates a whole new dynamic potentially in this election.
Democrats know this is a card they must play carefully.
If voters think they are using a murder for political gain, it could backfire on them. John Cochran, ABC News, Washington.
On the subject of political gain, how about a highway, or at least a piece of one? This is about your money, of course, and how a couple of politicians, well, worked it out would be a good description. Here's ABC's James Walker.
1 week before Election Day, and Arkansas Congressman Jay Dickey is all smiles.
Hey, dear.
You're doing great. I mean, you're just doing great.
How you doing? Thank you, Mr. Chancellor.
Last summer, Dickey had tried to get federal money to build a branch of Interstate 69 through his state. But he lost because Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott wanted part of the highway to go through his home state, Mississippi, and not just through Arkansas.
Last July when we talked, your highway was dead.
Dead as a doornail.
It was dead as a doornail.
That's right.
But an election was coming up, and House Speaker Newt Gingrich wanted to help Republican Dickey get reelected to maintain the GOP majority in Congress. So Gingrich cornered Lott, and the two struck a deal. Lott would keep his portion of the interstate through Mississippi. Dickey would reduce his proposed branch to 52 miles, all of it in his district. Lott then agreed. Dickey got $100 million for his road, which will mean jobs for lots of his constituents.
Did the House Speaker help you?
Oh, absolutely.
Senator Lott helped you?
Oh, yes, yes.
And you were in a heavily Democratic district.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Maybe one of the most Democratic
will this help
districts.
You?
Yes, it will. It's just wonderful to see a Democrat here. I will tell you, just keep smiling while you talk about us Republicans.
But it turns out that $100 million is only a start. Taxpayers, either federal or state, will have to come up with $150 million more to finish Congressman Dickey's highway. Either that or leave a half-finished strip of interstate sitting in southern Arkansas. James Walker, ABC News, Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Maybe after that we'd best get beyond the horizon. Our series on space this week. We'll take a closer look.
Inspired performance and handling. Luxury with a whole lot of fun. It's what sets Catera apart from every other car in its class. Now experience the difference during the Cadillac Performance Drive with up to $3,000 in factory-to-dealer cash. Catera with up to $3,000 in dealer cash. Ready to move during the Cadillac Performance Drive. See your authorized Cadillac Catera dealer today.
Some people call it retirement planning. I think of this as future construction. Year by year, block by block, until...
It's our dream house.
Beautiful. But I was hoping we could afford to travel. This plan can help make it happen. We can even make sure you've got worry-free income for life.
AXA, dynamic vision, equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the Global AXA Group.
For the 14 million women who worry about light to moderate bladder control, now there's new Double Protection Compose Panty and Pad System. The Compose Panty and Pad fit together for double protection. There's a super absorbent disposable pad, but the real difference is the separate washable panty. It gives you double protection with a quilted panel that won't let wetness through. So why worry? Get double protection with Double Protection Compose. Protection that goes beyond the pad.
Nobody does it like you.
A revolving brush or 5 rotating brushes, a manual hand tool or one powered with 2 more brushes. The choice is easy.
Nobody
Steam Vac Ultra.
does it like you.
Give me land, lots of land, beneath the starry skies above. Don't fence me in, no, no, no. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. But don't fence me in.
This weekend, freedom doesn't cost a lot. Call 1-800-EMBASSY now for sweet retreat rates. Embassy Suites. What a difference a stay makes.
Don't fence me in.
This week we're taking a closer look at space, what with John Glenn and the others preparing for their shuttle launch on Thursday. In Florida today, it was fairly routine. Equipment check, medical exam, even some leisure time with their respective families. In the old days, astronauts didn't get a lot of last-minute time with their families. The big space story of the day is actually at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California. Today, the space agency unveiled what they call deep space microprobes. They are scheduled to be launched in January. They will be crashed deliberately into Mars so as to test the durability of very small instruments that will be needed to explore Mars and continue the search for other life. Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
Our first encounter with alien life may not happen in some distant corner of the universe, but soon, on a bracing night in the Utah desert in April 2008. That's when NASA hopes to bring back a robot ship with the first 1-pound sample of soil from Mars.
There's something about the possibility that may be life started elsewhere. I think it just fascinates almost everybody.
Scientists are scouring the solar system for evidence of life. Next year, they'll send a probe called Stardust to return samples from the tail of a comet. They're talking to oceanographers about how to reach the ice-covered waters of Jupiter's moon Europa. And what if they actually do find something? That's no small question. America's only past experience is with the Apollo moon rocks, now sealed inside Building 31N at the Johnson Space Center.
Once we suit up, we're pretty effectively covered.
To get into the lunar lab today, one needs protective clothing,
Throughout the whole room.
vacuuming in an airlock, and then scientists can only touch the samples through special glove boxes.
Yeah, look at that glassy surface.
All this is to protect the samples from human contamination.
We want to study the moon. We don't want to study what the Earth can do to moon samples.
The reverse problem is perhaps trickier. How to protect us from what the space probes might bring back, on the tiny but not zero chance that something in them could be harmful.
Whether or not we find life on Mars is not perhaps the central question. We're looking to find out what conditions promote life.
But life is hardy stuff. It survives in spacecraft parts that have been out there and back. And of course, there may be past life inside that famous Martian meteorite.
So we have to be much more careful when we bring things back from Mars, and obviously we will be.
The samples will be welded in a metal canister for the 300 million mile trip home. And if there is the slightest sign of a leak, the ship won't even be allowed to land on Earth.
Especially after people talking about life on Mars being a distinct possibility, we've got to be really careful there, and we're not taking any of that lightly at all.
Scientists will treat the rocks with the same care they would the Ebola virus, because the prospect of life in space is at once terrifying and tantalizing. Yes, there is a small chance it's harmful, but its discovery could be one of the greatest of all time. Ned Potter, ABC News, Johnson Space Center, Houston.
Well, one thing we all know now is that coming and going to space is expensive. The question is, are there ways to cut the cost? Recycling rockets, for example. When we come back.
Dandruff, psoriasis, scalp dermatitis. If you asked all the dermatologists listed here to recommend a therapeutic shampoo, Neutrogena T-Gel would come out #1. T-Gel works on all 3 itchy, flaky scalp conditions. Neutrogena T-Gel, it works.
You're short of breath. There's pain in your chest. You may be having a heart attack. Now, what do? Call an ambulance? Good. And take Bayer aspirin. It's now been proven that aspirin can do more than help prevent second heart attacks. Now, Bayer may actually help stop you from dying if you take it during a heart attack. Talk to your doctor now. Do you know where your Bayer is? Bayer, powerful pain relief, and so much more.
I can't afford to have rough hands, not with my patients. It's a great thing that this hospital uses Carrie.
Carrie works 3 ways. It soothes, it moisturizes, and protects against dryness. Carrie, it's trusted therapy for dry skin.
Experts say babies who get held a lot grow faster, that the touch of a hand can lower someone's blood pressure, that smiling releases helpful hormones. At Cigna Healthcare, these are all sound, scientific reasons for our particular way of doing things. It's called caring, and that should lower everyone's blood pressure. Cigna, a business of caring.
With Jimmy Smits and only 4 more episodes, you don't want to miss this.
Are you okay?
I am okay.
Oh, God. He can't stand
Waterboy Martinez!
Bobby, what's wrong?
All new NYPD Blue, ABC tonight. Viewer discretion advised.
Finally from us this evening, the price tag. One of the reasons NASA is so focused on public relations this week is plain and simple money. There just isn't enough money, government money, to do everything the space agency would like. So is it possible that the answer may be less government and more private enterprise? Here's ABC's Jane Clayson.
Main engine start and liftoff.
Space travel is expensive.
We have solid motor separation.
Except for the space shuttle, every rocket is a one-shot launch.
Both sets are gone.
Right now, with expendable launchers, you throw away the equivalent of a jetliner every time you fly.
So private companies are racing to design reusable rockets.
Looking good, Pete.
Pete Conrad commanded the Apollo 12 mission to the moon. He says the private sector can do it much cheaper than the government.
The primary objective of what we're trying to do is cut the cost per pound orbit by about 70%.
And these may be the answer. Reusable rockets with parachutes and airbags. Here's a prototype that takes off like a rocket and lands like a helicopter. This technology, being tested on old fighter jets, would actually tow a spacecraft into the sky.
That Eclipse, you are clear to release.
Once released, rocket engines would propel it into orbit to deliver a payload. 30 minutes later, it would land back on Earth. With innovations like these, supersonic deliveries are not far off. Send a package from New York, expect it in Tokyo 45 minutes later. And if freight can soar through suborbit, why can't humans? One company has signed up 60 people for a $98,000 a seat space ride. Another advertises on cable.
And now you can do it too. Ride a rocket into space.
Burt Rutan has spent $7 million developing the Proteus rocket.
Power up.
He says soon anyone can go to space.
The reason it hasn't happened is no one has had a sense that you can profit from it. No one has a sense that you can even technically do it.
So don't be surprised, the entrepreneurs say, in 20 years to see space cruise ships, space hotels, fueling stations, even asteroid mining in space. All of it private enterprise.
20 years from now, government spending in space will probably be 5% or less, and 95% of it's going to be spent in the commercial world.
As space becomes the final money-making frontier. Jane Clayson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Tomorrow night, we're going to take a look at a group of people who have some reason to be not quite so happy that John Glenn is going into space for a second time. They are the women of Mercury 13. They never got a chance to go once. That's our report on World News Tonight. Later on Nightline, 2 senators running for their political lives. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good evening, and that we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.